Well, hello. I am Dr. Contrast, and welcome to the Dream Labs, and we are live. So I'm looking forward to a good program together, gang. And to those of you who are listening or tuning in, hey, how you doing? Good to see you, Valimir. How are you? Antares, everything good? It's great to have you on board, and I want to thank you, before we start here, for being patient with me. Yesterday I had to do a little prep work to get this architectural piece put together and didn't want to go live and rush things, so we got it all set today, and good to have you on board, Antares. So hope all's well with you, and really good at this end. But, I just wanted to go back real briefly here. I think the last thing that we did was some speed form studies last Wednesday, and it was a lot of fun to work with that. Very emotional, red cans on paper, doing some tone work. But I just want to turn the page around here and start doing some interesting little architectural concept sketches. And I think I've laid out a series of little, what I refer to as pilot, quick black pen sketches. And it's just kind of a prototype. I started this sketch this morning and just wanted to let you see what we're going to deal with here from the rest of the entourage here when we go through the process. So what I want you to pay attention to is a very quick, lucid approach. Notice the title was some very emotional ideation sketches and very lucid. And I'm doing a lot of architectural projects. I'll start most of my thumbnail studies for my client in this format. A little bit of pen work. It's at I went out today and bought some. Hey, very good. Got some tone. What color did you get? But you got red. Great. Very cool, Terra. So this is gonna be a lot of fun. Wait for a second to respond to her. But again, go back to when I work with clients for architectural work, and sometimes, no matter what the scale is, I always go back and look at little thumbnail sketches like this to kind of warm up a little bit. Send these kind of sketches, either just line or a little bit of color added to the client for approval, then go full blast into the final very tuned piece here. But I think the most important part of today's stream is going to be this. And some black, that's great. Black is really cool. So good stuff. I'm sure you'll enjoy that. If you have any questions along the way, I'm sure you won't. But if you have any questions along the way, just think in terms of what we did last week. For example, that tone paper, whether it's red or black, that color is the middle ground. You're going highlight and shadow, and that's it. And I just stain it and do a lot of drawing back into it, and you're on your way. So if you get some work done, please feel free to email me, and I'd love to take a look at the work you're doing. And again, you're doing some great stuff, so keep up the great work. Last but not least, so here it is. Real quick little maybe 5-10 minute sketches just to kind of loosen up a little bit. And again, there's nothing really formidable here in terms of being formal. It's very lucid, very expressive, and just looking at content for color, material, etc. And I'll be working with a little bit of marker and a lot of Prismacolor pencil just to kind of fill in a little bit of color blanks here. So that's where I started. Just kind of bring one up here and get this thing moving here. Sketch number 2. Let me kind of put this in place and we'll get moving here. So first things first, I'm going to come back and get this elevation stuff put together here. So let's come up and do a little tone work on this again and get at it here. Let's get the right tip going here. Let's get this out. Just a little bit of tone work in. Slide through it. Slide through it. And into here. A little bit down through here in the foundation area. Get that all set on the foundation area. And then we go from there and put this little bit of a footing here, a little bit of marker rough, a little bit of marker touch here. Very cool. Let's get this thing under put a little bit of sky tone in this thing here, going very quickly. Nothing really, again, just expressive, very expressive. Into light source, into light source. And again, a little bit of background work here, just kind of put a little bit of sky tone underneath here. Let's get this all put together here. In here, a bit of groundscape in this. There's a variety of colored pencil here to kind of work with the hair as we go. So just kind of lay in some little foundation work here. Settle this thing in. Come back again. A little bit of sky tone. Let's get this thing to kind of come back into this little overview here. Let's get some of that same reflection into the water just a bit here. And let's get a little bit of shadow here. tone in here. A little more shadow. And where that split is, put that in place. Just a little bit more definition down below here, just to kind of give a little bit of scream to it here. Get this down here. Working quickly, just getting the feel down of the character of this little shape of this form study. Kind of plant it into its environment and get that all set. Very simple little thumbnail study. There it is, just a little elevation going beat here. Now let's go back and put this into some sort of context here, and then just this little perspective overhead. A little bit of a different system, but nonetheless, process will be the same. Let's see if I can get this lined up here. Sorry, yeah, keep it as square as I can here. A little bit of tone in here. See, there's some real high contrast under this overhang. Drop that back just a bit. And a little bit more of this shadow side here. Just gonna put that into place here. Get that cap back on here. Let's put that glass in it for a moment here and get something established. Get that reflected into that upper. And let's put a little brickwork in here with some very subtle pencil work. A little bit of brickwork in here. Down the foundation. Just getting the textures down, not being specific with it, but just laying down some pretty interesting stuff here. Let's get a little bit of brickwork out here too. And again over on this side. Get that through. And reflect just a bit of that back into the glass. So that's kind of laying down some interesting little surface work here. Let's get rid of that guy for a moment. Let's take that number 4 gray and just crank it over a bit. Get some of the shadows down here. Better yet, let's go to a 3. Might be a little bit bold here. Number 3 cool gray. Get this away from the light source here. Notice really quick, a bit of shadow underneath there to get that down. Let's get this walkway piece, put that in place. Bit of a boulevard underneath here. Got that all set up here. Let's take this, show a little bit of that little shadow drop inside there. Again, shadow drop over here. One more pass with a little more reflection out the sky. Put that lay in there. Got it. And let's go back in and add a little bit of tone here. Pardon me as I rotate this just a bit. and take that same little bit of that brick foundation work back in through here. Lay that through. A little more reinforcement up front and up front. And we'll just lay in. Let me get my hands all organized here. Let's take that same gray and just put a little shadow underneath this area here. There it is. A little more punch here. Let that shadow come up the steps. And that should do it. Let's see. Let's lay in some foliage here. Again, really expressive. Get some of this ground surface in here. Lay that in. Hope this is working okay. Take this back here, so a little deeper here, get some shadow work in here. Where that light source is coming from. Foliage put in place here, just kind of roughing it in. Notice, real quick and lucid, nothing really exaggerated here. Just getting the job done, hopefully. Let's start to lay this in first. And come back in and pick up some real subtle shadow definition here in some of the softscape around this structure. And just kind of lay this in. Again, real quick. There it is. Let's put a little bit of part of my rotate here. Let's get rid of this thing, bring it right back in here. It's more of that landscaping there, and bring that right into play. Now, a bit of shadow work, real quick, a little bit more definition. Coming right down the line, real loose. Use almost the side of the pencil to get that character to kind of really crank in there for us. Just a bit more here, a little bit more through here. Maybe just a touch more of this coming. And get this guy to throw a little shadow into this. Pardon me again, I rotate just a bit. And a little bit of shadow down through here. Let's put a little bit of punch back in through this area and bring it from dark into shadow, into light. Very expressive, very quick. Very lucid, hopefully, and there it is. Little thumbnail study there. What do you think there, Antares? Is this making sense for you? Hopefully, you notice how quickly I'm working to get these surfaces to work for us. Not a whole lot of fuss in terms of making the commitments, but just getting that whole thing to kind of jump in there nicely for us. Let's kind of get this to kind of reflect back just a bit. A little bit of that in there, and that does it. So, interesting little sort of thumbnail sketches here. Let that kind of, the little peripheral piece kind of fold a little bit. I just want to really stress the fact that that thing is in perspective, a little bit of character to it, putting some surface work down, elevation, and into a little bit of the perspective study, and that should hopefully get the job done there. So again, I think a lot of this has to deal with a good, really perspective drawing. It looks great, the scrubbing with the pencil. Yeah, it just kind of gives it a little more zip to it in terms of the scrubbing. Talking about right. Let me do this. Do this one side here, where the shadow line is on these trees. Get those up a little bit, and some more content to it. That helps. Like it takes a little bit of concentration in terms of making sure that the themes are all there. And I think once you get back to this, let's do this here. One more pass here. Let's run that right in and reflect that back. So there we are. That's just a little thumbnail sketch here, and that's phase 2. Let's kind of get this guy off the pad here, and we'll go to another little quick study here. A little bit more of a skyscraper look here. It's kind of fun. So we'll kind of put this in place and get this all set up here, and we'll crank away at it. So the first thing I'm going to do is lay in the sky. It's very simple. Come back in. Pardon me as I rotate this pad a little bit here. Next step, we'll just lay a little bit of tone. Let's go to number 1 here just to be safe here. Let's see. Got the light source set up here. Keep this side as paper. Just crank this thing away here. There we go. Pardon me. Lost my marker top here. There you are. Let's go back and hit this guy here. And one more pass here. We'll get these guys down. Pardon me. Just gotta put that cap on tightly. There it is. A little bit of an environment in here. Go back in here, a little bit of more contrast. A little bit of tone in there, a little bit of glass combination. I think we got it. Rotate that just a bit. Got that all set up. There it is. Now let's try a little bit of this. Let's get this down here. Get this all set. Organize my materials here. Get that out of the way. Come back in. And again, real quick little thumb sketch, just kind of neat little. Let's bring this down and here. Let's get a little bit more contour back in the sky tone here, a little deeper in here and in here. Let's bring this right back in. And there you are. Just a nice little vignette piece. Kind of put this piece together. Just got a bit more contour back in through here too. Just a little more smack. And it's just going to reflect that on the sidewalk. And there's A. So a little neat deal. Let's go back in here, do the same process. Come back up here. Notice I'm just kind of scrubbing in areas here, not paying a lot of attention to detail, just getting the formats and the graphics down. Makes a huge difference, I think, in a case such as this. Let's go back, put a little more tone in this guy. Get it down to number 4 gray. And get a little more impact on some of the shadow areas here. That's better. And more impact where we need it. There it is. And it just kind of falls together here. It's going to get this in shadow. Get that to break. Get that to break. Same with this. And again, maybe just a little bit of just an edge here. Just going to take this back Just a touch. More drawing definition back into this thing, and we've almost got it. Put a tone in here. More glass stuffing. There it is there. Some reflecting ponds. And more sky here. A little glass. A little bit of glass in through here. And again, a quick little empathy study here. Yeah, that's kind of, thank you very much. The main thing is, Antares, I hope you're picking up the fact that not a lot of magic in terms of really being definitive in the sketches. They're very lucid, very expressive thumbnail studies, and I think that's what makes it all happen when you get to that stage again. Pardon me here for a moment. I'll do this. And what happens here, you can kind of take this thing and just get enough of this to kind of reflect back into this format here. Let's get this down, just ground this guy just a bit more. Put a softness in this thing. Again, a little bit of tone in the shadows. A little bit of a character to him, just a little more impact. And let's kind of make a change here. Let's put a little lawn space in between this thing. Open this up. Oh, it's not so sheer. That's better. And we'll come along here and just pick up a nice little and hopefully that should get her. More contrast and some of these sky tones up here. And as stated before, a lot of sketches I do for architectural work happen like this. They're just very little composition studies, and away they go. No magic, just emotion plus perspective and some wall-based contrast. Yeah, that's all it takes, Antares. You got it right. I mean, that's exactly what it takes. Simple little thumbnail studies, getting the character down, getting the gesture down, and we go from there. Let me put these down for a moment. Now, I just want to sign this guy and move on to the next one. But the main thing is, Antares, I hope this is helping. Are you seeing the actual forte of being able to just kind of lay down a tone, not worry about it, and go back in and draw over the top of that tone and make some significant changes to the actual balance of the actual character of the sketch? I hope that's what you're picking up here, Chief, because that's what it really comes down to. Just nice little studies like that. I missed a little bit of glass on this one, sorry. Put that in there just enough. There it is, and maybe just a bit here, and down and below. Cool, there it is. Two different formats, a skyscraper type. But again, working with a value system and a little bit of color added, just really takes in that whole idea. Just very simple stuff. So there we are. There's the third sketch. We'll go back to the review here. This one was a lot of fun. This one really looked like a nice sharp special. A lot of surface changes in this thing. So where do we go? Well, very quickly, we go here first. Let's get the sky tone established in this thing and get this out. We'll come back into detail in just a bit. A little bit of background work. Oh, yeah, there we go, got it. Yeah, there you go. Got it. Dimension. You got it. Right there. Nicely said. You got it. A little bit of a base on here for a little bit of background work. We'll come back and retexture it once we get rolling here. And let's get this here. Let's get back in through this. Just kind of work backwards here and just get some of this started here. Let's get this in place. Let me sharpen it, stick up there a little bit. Get a little bit of the green space in place here. And at the same time, a little bit of shadow. Now we can come back in, get a little bit of impact here, a bit of contrast in this thing now. Oh, this is working. Yeah, good. Let's go to a number 1 gray. Get this upper piece washed in there. A little bit of this glass going here. Come back and refine this beauty. Number 4 gray, we're just going to crank this shadow back in through here. Oh, there we go. Got it back. Oh, let that to snap on here for just a moment. Get this guy put together again for us here, and we'll go right back in and start to detail a little bit more. So, very quick little lucid sketch here, but again, the whole thing's starting to come together, I hope. Oh, wow, very striking shapes. And yeah, it's just really overall a very angular piece here of Antares. Should be good here. Let's kind of get this rolling here. And let's kind of put a little more shadow in this thing. Pardon me as I just change the orientation just a bit. Number 4, 3 gray. More shadow in this thing here. A bit more definition in it. And a little bit of number 1 gray in there, and help put it all put together here. Little patchwork quilt out in the plaza space area here. Got it again here. There it is. Got it back. And come back in here. Excuse me. And a little more over here. A bit of roughness in through here. Soften this shape off a little bit. And a little bit of shadow inside there. It should be good. Again, nothing really up the range here. Just really loose little theme sketches to get the concept down and establish a character in some of these little studies we're working with here today. Now let's go back in here and just kind of wrap up some things here. We've got it. And let's see. Let's bury this guy a little bit here. That's on the negative side. A little bit of recess. A little bit of a recess. A little bit of a recess. And that should do it. Get the shadow to crank a little bit more here. More glass reflection up on top. And just for a little bit of punch here, so enough contrast here to work with. Add that in place. Some of that. And that. And possibly right down in here, just a little bit more highlight in the mullions in the glass. And reflect that right into the surface. And again, that should do it. So there it is, a little thumbnail study, phase 3. So there she is, very striking shapes. There you go. So hopefully that's a nice little passway through this thing. Let me get this lined up here for a second. Again, notice a very lucid sketch, almost stilted building. It's very angular, very triangulated, but down to a plaza space down below. Very sculpted, very hardscape, but again, just enough softness in it to take the bite off of it. So what do you think, Antares? This is happening. You see, the whole idea is when you get these theme studies down, is to just go right back in there and be very lucid with them. Just get the character down. What's dark? What's light? What kind of emphasis? What kind of softscape are you dealing with to kind of tail this, to settle the score with this? And let me sign this guy for a moment. And once that's established, I mean, everything else just falls into place. I mean, these sketches are very quick, very lucid, and they're just characterizations. And I think that's the one thing I love working with architects. When I get a project coming in for an architectural program, I come back in, I'll just do a whole series of thumbnail sketches like this, either this in pen or pencil, and just lay down themes and go darks and lights and see what the character is and get some feedback from the client base and see what they're after. That's the whole idea behind this whole process. So hopefully this is working for you. And I think you do the same thing, and no matter what the subject matter is, automobile, product design, architecture, interior space. We'll go through some of those things in the next few weeks, changing gears, and putting a lot of interesting stuff together in the actual format of these presentations to give you some idea of all the little pieces and parts that make that very, very substantial, inspiring sketch. And I think that's, to me, the most important thing of it all is your sketches, Antares, my sketches, anybody's working with it. Our sketches should really be a reflection of our soul. It's how we feel about what we do. It's a passion for us. And we need to see that and show that. And I think that's what these sketches are hopefully trying to highlight. That it's not placid, it's not cautious, it's very ambitious, very bold, and at the same time lucid, but it has a story to tell. So hopefully we're there. So we put in this guy, and we'll crank out one more here, and that's it we've got. So far, so good, gang. Fun stuff. These are, again, just some variations on theme. Come back in behind this guy, and let's kind of lay in. Let's get the graphics out of the way first. And we'll come in very lightly with a nice, simple, maybe a number 1 grade. Keep it nice and toned this time and simple. Really super nice and easy. There it is there. Light source side. shadow aside rather. Laying the values first. Real quick. Just block them in. Indication where that light source might be coming from. There it is there. There. Just tone it in. We come back and define it as we go here. Through the process on this side. Now we've kind of turned the corner here. This little insert piece here. So we're going to just a moment. And I'm going to take that number 4, number 4 gray, and just dive this surface back in the shadow here. So we're going to take this guy, we've turned the corner. Turn the corner here. As well as back here. And we have also put a little bit of overhang on this thing. So little by little, notice how those very quick little strokes start to establish a character. You're getting the values down, the lights and dark. Our sketches should be a reflection of our soul. How we feel about it, we do. I never heard that, but I did before. Right? Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot to that in Terrace. And when we don't, if we're very cautious, it shows. Very placid, very, very stiff looking. But our sketches should be an animation of our soul, how we feel about what we do and who we are, and what we've learned to do and how to do it well with a lot of skill involved. So that to me is a very simple explanation, as simple as I can get it here. So I believe that, and I think you'll see as more you progress in your work, you'll see the same thing happening. Your sketches should have a spirit. They should have what I refer to as they should be quickened to life. They should be quickened, bring it to life, as opposed to just being so static. So let me move along here, not to bore you to death. There we are. Let's put this in the shadow. A little bit of recess. We'll come back and detail that as we go. That's that. Let's do the same thing here. Drop that out a little bit. Let's drop the ceiling out a little bit. Underneath the overhang. More shadow. More shadow. Let's take that shadow through. Let's tell the viewer where it's coming from, the light source. Shadow there. All of a sudden, let's put a little bit of shadow in this thing too. Let's kind of go back in through here. Get this piece up on top. So there you are. Oh, let's get the sky bridge in place. There it is. Just graphically put it all together. Pardon me. Let's lay a little bit of the glass surfaces in here. First of all, let's get this a little bit of shadow off of this guy here. Some bit of tone on this thing. Shadow off of that. Shadow here, there. And let's bring that light source into play now. Let's put a little sky, a glass tone in here now. A little bit of glass there, and maybe a little bit of glass here. All right, let's kind of put those in place. There's a little bit of drawing definition here, just kind of get things stuck. Some drawing definition here makes a huge difference. Again, starting to come together. What do you think, Antares? Ever born learning from a... yeah, no, thanks very much. I really appreciate that very much. So here we go. Let's kind of lay this in. Get a little more definition down below. Get this into place. Let's give this a little bit of sense of scale here. Etc. So let's kind of soften it off. I mean, let's get a little bit of sky tone in here. See if we can kind of get this guy to put together here. Sky underneath this guy. And let's see. Oh, yeah. A little bit of softness in here now. Soften off the scape just a bit. And a little bit of shadow work, and I think we got it. What do you think, Antares? Is that one reading? See what you think here. You're the observer here. Let's hope to give us good, honest feedback here, which you always have, which I really appreciate. A little bit of softness here, a bit of shadow in that, shadow there, there, and there, and I think that's got it. I mean, I'm pretty happy with the fact that thinking reads a nice simple set of volumes. And, you know, again, really quick, but yet very gesturally and gets the job done. And hopefully that should surmise here. That's great. Let's go back and wrap this guy up here. One more piece. Let's get the old graphics out of the way first. This cantilevered overhang piece. Let's tell the viewer exactly what that is. Right. In a moment here, we'll get that established. And the high contrast areas out of the way first. Now let's let the viewer know what this shape is doing. That's an open area, into sky, into sky. In the sky. There it is. That's what that guy is doing. Let's put a little bit of definition into it so it doesn't get very big. Just kind of get the same perspective for let's kind of sharpen this up. There it is. One there. One there. And one more in here. Very cool. Let's go move. A little bit of tone in there now. Cast a shadow off that piece. Shadow into this. Take that back. Put a glass surface in here. Glass. There's a little bit of overhang here to kind of read out for us. I'm not losing things here. Yeah, I'm on the screen all right? Yeah, good deal. So far, so good. Let's have a little fun with this. Oh, a little bit of color in this guy. Reflection in that glass. A little bit of highlight across the top of this upper piece. Let's lay a little bit of color in back into here. A bit of softscape now, kind of bring it all together as best we can here. Just very simple and expressive. Let's put a little bit of pounding working through here. a sky tone on top. That's going to kind of warm this up a little bit here. That's better. A bit of shadow behind the corner here. And we'll leave that background area just in line form here, I think. Just better not. Let's see if we can kind of block it in. Put a number 1 grade. Just kind of put something together here. Some of that terracotta. I think I had it. Yeah, here it is. Very simple sketches here. Let's go back to this pen. We'll wrap this beauty up, and I think we've got it. One last little touch, and I think we're home. That means this, and just reflect a little bit of that right on the pavement. Well, again, let me get rid of my stuff here. That just about does it. There's a nice series of maybe little concept sketches here into architectural exterior work. Do you generally try to have some change across any given surface? For example, a value gradient. Yeah, I do. I change, for example, notice some of these sketches. I'll show you in a moment here. I'll change the direction, for example, down the bottom. Let me walk through these guys first, and I'll point that out as we go. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3, 4, and 5. All right, let's go through here. Yeah, let's start here. So there's the first one we did, just a nice little thumbnail sketch. Take the background, for example, change the grade, if that's what you're working for. But that's, that little background work just got more interest in it, so it's not just a flat tone. So that was the first sketch we generated. And more to it, I think in your case here, notice I'm changing direction with the grass. It doesn't happen on grass, but just get more animation to get a little more life. I think it makes a big difference. And again, gradient changes here, for example, in the same direction coming down that slope. A little bit different, but nonetheless, reflections make a huge difference here. That's such an overhead view. Difficult to, I've reflected some of the brick back into the glass, but that helps to put a little bit of sense of reliability into it as well. So there's sketch number 2. 3, very straightforward in terms of gradients. There's not much here. It's just a very valuable study for a skyscraper material. But again, notice I'm changing the slope of very curvilinear lines, and it changes some of the direction here, bringing back in some of those gradient changes, kind of dark and light, so it kind of gives more animation to it. So that's all part of the whole process that we're talking about today, about these very expressive, lucid sketches that take advantage of getting into the whole thing. Hey, Antares, how are you, man? It's back again. Do you generally try to have some changes? Yeah, that's it. Sorry. Same thing. Got it? Then now the fifth sketch we did, again, variation changed. A lot of it here. Notice, flat, then it goes into a radius, and then it goes into a contour piece here. Changing the texture, the variation of that theme as we go across, pardon me, the surface, makes a really tremendous difference. So pretty cool stuff to work with. And again, even on some of the surface work, shadows are pretty straightforward, but again, you reflect back into it, and it changes the tempo of that form itself. So very helps to get more believability, even though it's a very loose, spontaneous sketch. A lot more believability in terms of putting the pieces together. And then the last one, same set of circumstances. Pardon me, again, a lot of reflection, some change of pace, and all in the same direction, kind of driving the viewer back into the view. And again, this one the same way. A lot of directional changes in the surface. So to tell where the light source is, boy, I'm sorry, getting stuffed up here. Telling where the light source is, but taking a lot more variation in theme to kind of give, again, more interest. So that kind of wraps it up for today's session. I hope it's been of some value to you as much as I've had fun putting it together. And I will say this too. I think one of the things that I really enjoy doing, I enjoy doing a lot of different subject matters. They're all a passion to me, but I think architecture to me is very stunningly innovative. You can take chances. You're a little lucid with it. You can go very sketchy with it or very tight with it. I've done both areas. It's a great learning platform to work with. So what do you think, Terrace? Any final commentary before we kind of sign off here today? Great to have you on board, by the way. Just absolutely stunning. Good stuff to have you. Always helpful with the commentaries you come up with. Really great. Again, quick sketches, very lucid, architectural concept ideation studies, just really interesting things. I appreciate your putting together and developing these. Yeah, me too. I appreciate you being on board, Terrace, and I think your work is really making some great progress. And I'm glad you got tone paper red and black, and you got CanSon. When you get some sketches down, please send them along. I'd love to take a look at them, and you're going to make great progress. I know you will, because you're picking it up here very quickly and doing a great job. So, again, fun today. Next week, I don't think I'll have to. I haven't really kind of decided on a subject matter yet, but I think I'm going to go back to maybe some interior space stuff, same theme that we're doing here today, or switch gears and do some advanced Lamborghini. I'm not sure, or Bugatti. I want to keep it as fluid as I possibly can. Maybe some landscape work too. So throughout the course of the week, I'll make a decision here and put the plan together. And we hope to see you next Wednesday at the same time, Terrace. And above all else, I wish you all the very best there in Liverpool. Keep working at it. Keep me posted on where you're at. And if you have any notes you want to send me, an email, I'll respond as best I can in time. I'm always happy to do that. So thank you so much. Those of you who are not chatting here, thank you for joining forces today. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And we'll look forward to seeing you next Wednesday. And I always, just a brief little announcement here. Please take a moment to visit my website, drcontrast.com. You'll see some neat stuff happening there. I'm on Instagram, for example. If you go to that my website, you'll see all the pieces there. Instagram, YouTube, and other matters that I'm dealing with. So really fun to work with. And again, send me a note if you have any interest here. Just interested in really looking at things you want to have discussed or looked at. I'd be happy to help if I can. Drop me a note at jim@drcontrast.com. And above all else, just like you said here, Terrace, dare to be great because you are. That's exactly how I feel about it. I end every stream with the same thing. Never forget to remember to dare to be great because you are. Thanks, Terrace, and the rest of the game. All the best. We'll see you next Wednesday. Have a great week and take care. Thank you.